In this video, we'll talk about how to solve so-called one-step equations. These are the simplest kind of equations that we'll be learning how to solve. The method for solving one-step equations rely on two important properties of equations, and they're both very similar. The addition property says that we can add or subtract the same number on both sides of an equation, and that doesn't change the solution. The multiplication property says the same thing about multiplying or dividing, with the extra warning that we can't multiply or divide by 0 on both sides because that would in a sense ruin the equation. So the idea here is that we want to add, subtract, multiply, or divide the correct number on both sides so that we simplify our equation and get our solution. And in these one-step equations, that's all we'll have to do. We'll have to choose the one operation that gets us immediately from our given equation to our solution. So it's only one step. And the idea is that whatever operation is being done in the equation, we want to do the opposite. So in this example, we have x plus 5 equals 21. So notice that the operation that's happening here is that 5 is being added to x. So the opposite of adding 5 is subtracting 5. So the operation we want to do to both sides of our equation is to subtract 5. On the left-hand side, the 5's cancel out, and we just get x. And then on the right-hand side, all we have to do is compute 21 minus 5. That works out to be 16. And we're done. Just one step. But notice again, what we did is we saw in the given equation, we were adding 5, so the operation that we did was to subtract 5. In this example, we have 4x equals 100. Now, there's no symbol in between the 4 and the x here, but remember that what 4x really means is 4 times x. So the opposite of multiplying by 4 is to divide by 4. So on both sides of our equation, we're going to divide by 4. In this case, the 4 and the 4 divide out, we just get x. And then again, we just compute 100 divided by 4, which works out to be 25. So again, the given operation was multiplication, so the opposite operation that we did was division. One more example, this time we have a fraction, so 2/3 y equals 10. So the operation here is that we're multiplying by 2/3, so the opposite of multiplying by 2/3 is to divide by 2/3. So divide by 2/3, if you remember how division by fractions work, divide by 2/3 is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of 2/3, namely 3/2. So we're going to take 3/2 and multiply it on both sides of our equation. And that's just how to divide fractions. So the way that we divide by a fraction is to instead multiply by its reciprocal. So the 3 and the 3 divide out, the 2 and the 2 divide out. Notice that after that single step we just get y. And then again we can compute 10 times 3/2 works out to be 15. So 15 is our solution.